Hey guys, welcome back. Today I actually have some great news for you. We have Democrats and Republicans agreeing on something. Yeah, it's not very often you hear them agreeing on anything these days, but the good news is there is one thing, and that is coronavirus treatment. So both Democrats and Republicans in office and voters all agree that nobody should be going bankrupt, nobody should be paying anything for testing or treatment of coronavirus. So, now setting aside the implementation of that and what anyone's actually doing about that, I'm going to set that aside. That's a whole different conversation. But in theory, they all agree that nobody should be going bankrupt for this. And their reasoning is pretty sound. They said, hey, this is not their fault. This is a global pandemic. Nobody could have planned for this. It's just something that no one could have planned for. It's nobody's fault. And that makes sense. So apply that logic to any other health condition. Now, a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute. People eating bad diets, people smoking, all these things. Yeah, we all do things that aren't the best for us. And that's of course always going to be the case in some aspects. But there are people who get cancers even though they exercise every day, eat a healthy diet. There are people born with type 1 diabetes, whereas type 2 diabetes is more often an acquired diabetes from a bad diet, whereas type 1 is congenital. It means you're born with it. So there are lots of diseases that people get that it's to no fault of their own. But that doesn't stop people from going bankrupt because of these diseases. The number one reason that Americans go bankrupt is because of medical debt. Do you understand how crazy that is? Stop everything for a second. Pay attention to this. The number one reason that Americans go bankrupt is medical debt. And there's no other country in the world. There's over 200 countries. None of them have medical debt. It's insane. We're the only ones. We're the richest country. We pay the most for healthcare per person. The most. And we're 27th in the world for quality. Even people on the right, Republicans, who decide that we can't afford healthcare and for everybody, and that our system is better anyway, and that all our doctors are the best, and that, hey, people come down here from Canada to get surgeries. Well, you know what? Those Republicans, they go to Canada to get surgeries. Rand Paul, look him up. He's one of the most libertarian people in the Senate. He went to Canada to get a hernia surgery. Why? Because the best doctor for that was in Canada. But the arguments they use, they'll say, hey, we can't go to their system because we're not going to have good doctors. Good doctors aren't going to want to work in a universal healthcare system. So that logic doesn't hold up because we're the only country in the world that has this system, and we're 27th in the world for quality. So we know that doesn't pan out. So part of why both Democrats and Republicans agree on universal health care is because, our life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness should not be infringed upon by any outside forces. That's what our government is actually meant to protect us from. And just over half of Republicans and over 70% of Democrats agree that we should have universal health care in this country. But unfortunately, on the ballot in November, we're going to have Joe Biden and Donald Trump, neither one of which is proposing anything close to Medicare for all or a universal health care of any kind. So there's a disconnect with what voters want and what the politicians actually put forward. But we keep putting ourselves up with these, lesser of two evils, and so that's really unfortunate. But the good news is, as Americans and voters continue to move towards these positive positions and understanding that we could both save money, save lives, and increase quality of care with universal health care, the more we move in that direction, the more likely we'll actually be to elect some people who are going to enact those policies. And so that's the good news for today. So, just to recap, we're the only country in the world without universal health care. We pay the most per person for health care. We're 27th in the world for quality. Republicans, even like Rand Paul, who say that quality is better here in America, even they go get their surgeries out of country, in Canada and other places. And we're the only country in the world with medical debt. So there's a clear reason why people, anyone who has to come to grips with this realizes that it doesn't make sense the way our system is. And the coronavirus is really just shining a light on a problem that was already there. And so I hope that this can at least brighten up your day with some good news that, hey, at least we're agreeing on things. We're not going to have universal health care anytime soon. Don't hold your breath for that. Neither Joe Biden or Donald Trump's going to give it to us. But we have to keep fighting for it. And who knows? Maybe in 10 years we can get there. Hey guys, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, leave a comment below with your question, and I may make a video based on the conversation that we have, just like this video. This video is based on a conversation that I had with someone else recently. So I thank you guys for sticking around and watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.